Hey everybody, this is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
Welcome to another episode of our humble little movie show here. It's the end of the month, end of Sports September. We've got one more review in the can coming up here. In fact, it's our Sports September Showdown winner, which was Happy Gilmore. You guys might have seen on our social media. We had polls out. Well, first we collected a bunch of movies from you guys, and then we put polls out, and then we voted. And Happy Gilmore came out on top
Yeah.
of some big movies.
Yeah, can we talk about the
mhm.
final ones? Because, some of the ones that showed up and there were some good ones. We had The Replacements, which stunned me. I truly didn't think people
Yeah.
knew what that movie was, and so for it to
A
beat out,
contender to win.
yes, very close, and it beat out Remember the Titans, it beat out some good football movies. I was stunned.
Mhm,
Mhm, mhm.
I don't remember
'Cause
what
I
the
think of
other
that
ones were.
movie
I
as like a
just was
TBS
surprised
film.
Replacements got in there, but I don't remember the rest.
And then The Little
Okay.
Giants
Little
did really
Giants?
well.
Little Little Giants did well, yeah.
Mighty
they
Ducks almost
did.
made a comeback there.
I think so, yeah.
People liked Bring It On,
Yes.
Yep,
but,
Bring It On was pretty popular, not
people
enough
did
though.
not like Air Bud,
Yeah, they got, like, no
but that's
votes.
okay. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Happy Gilmore later in the week. Super excited about that. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or, in the podcasting app, whichever you prefer. Just check out So Many Sequels in that app and subscribe. Um, we're always trying to reach a brand new, goal for our YouTube, so help us get there. Right now, we're shooting for 316. So keep going. Go to YouTube, type in So Many Sequels, hit subscribe. You'll get our videos twice a week there.
Yeah, if you become the
Um
316th, David and I will give you a toast.
Oh,
Mhm,
wow. A
mhm.
piece of toast or a drink.
What? Yes.
Alright. We also got So Many Scares coming up,
Mm.
so be ready for that. We'll be talking about that a little more later in the week and later in the show, but So Many Scares is set up for October. We'll probably have another fan vote in there somewhere, so be keeping an eye out for that on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram and Threads and Facebook and TikTok at So Many Sequels Pod. Let's catch up on what we've been doing and watching this week. David, you actually caught up on quite a bit. Because
Yes.
the past couple weeks, you've been like, "Nothing, nothing, meh, nothing."
Yeah, I've
So
been
what have
having
you
a
been
tough time of
watching?
it. Well, I'll just offhand mention, when we found out that it was not going to be the winner, I did decide to check out The Mighty Ducks, which is one of my favorite movies. As a kid, I seriously was obsessed with hockey because of this, and D2 and D3 I was really into. And if I hadn't grown up in the middle of Arkansas, it's possible that I might have actually played hockey
Hey,
kind of
now, if
state.
the Jamaican bobsled team could do it, why couldn't an Arkansas, uh,
See,
uh, hockey team exist?
this is what I said. This is what I said to the people at my schools. I was like, "Why can't we have a hockey team?" And they're like, "Well, we would have to
Funding
build an ice
issues.
rink." Okay, all right. Well, I see a band over here. We don't need this band. Let's get a hockey rink. Anyway, no, I was also in band though. Anyway, Mighty Ducks is great. What a fun movie. It is. I mean, it's very much for 8 to 12-year-olds, but in terms of films that are meant for 8 to 12-year-olds, it might be one of the best. You know, it is.
Some are
It's a ton
saying.
of fun.
Yeah.
The thing that everybody always points out about that movie is the stat that Gordon Bombay, when he was 10 or 11, scored like 90 goals in a season. Which, if you do the math, that's like 11 goals a game. No, it was like, so they should have made that kid. They should take. There's got to be a mercy rule in youth hockey somewhere. Some kid scoring 11 goals in a 20 like a 30-minute game. That's too much. Anyway, besides that, I'll get to my TV show stuff or my streaming series stuff here in a minute. But I went and watched
Mm.
the long-awaited, was it? I don't know, geriatric sequel for Beetlejuice last night, and there was a point where my wife fell asleep, and I did envy her, but I ended up liking it by the end. I was actually I was a little underwhelmed to start. By the end, I did kind of like the story, or at least I liked the without giving too many spoilers. I liked Jenna Ortega's story and the character that she meets. I thought that was pretty interesting. Um, but yeah, I mean, I liked first Beetlejuice. It's not my favorite movie ever. It's probably not even like in my top 50, but it's a good movie. So I don't know if there was going to be much they could do with this to make me go like, "Oh wow, better than the first." I don't know what they would have had to have achieved. But pretty enjoyable overall, at least by the end. To understand some of the weird criticisms I did hear, that Soul Train scene really was like, oh my, I don't know what to think about this. My only issue with it, you guys have both seen it, right?
I haven't.
Okay. Well, I won't say it then. But Josh, I'll mention it to you off screen.
Okay.
Anyway, there's an element of the movie that I was kind of like more off put by than like entertained by, and I think they wanted me to be entertained by it, but I wasn't. So anyway, Beetlejuice, I recommend it. If you're a big fan of the first one, I think you'll enjoy Beetlejuice Part 2.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, did you like it?
Oh, I quite enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah,
I had a blast from
Yeah.
start to finish.
that's good. I did like Willem Dafoe in it as well.
Yeah, he's great.
The other thing I did is I watched the debuts of Agatha All Along on Disney Plus and the Penguin on Max, and these two comic book shows about sort of secondary villains or primary villains, I guess, depending on your opinion, for major superheroes
They're
on
like
streaming services.
tertiary. They're not even
They both came out same week, day apart. Agatha was a 2-episode drop, and the Penguin was one. And they are very different. Like, they are totally different demos, One, I think, is clearly for the girlies, and the other is for the bros. And, but I gotta say, I enjoyed both of them, Both of them, I think, have drawn comparisons to past shows on HBO. A lot of people are comparing Agatha All Along to the, what is it? The Mayors of Eastwich. Is that
Mayor
is
of
that how it's pronounced?
Easttown.
Is that no, that can't be it.
That's on HBO show, but I mean, I haven't watched Agatha yet, but that wouldn't make sense in my head.
Mayors of
Probably
Easttown.
not really relevant though.
That's what people are comparing it to for some reason. Or maybe the Witches of I don't know. It's being compared to some HBO show. And then, obviously, people are drawing comparisons between The Penguin and The Sopranos. But
Yeah, it's lazy thinking, but okay.
what I will say is
Mobsters, Soprano.
Agatha has a lot of, it carries a lot of that sort of MCU vibe, but at the same time, it really has a cool group of, actresses who are from different things. Patti LuPone, Shaseer, I can't remember her last name. She was on SNL for a long time, Shaseer or something. Um, and so pretty enjoyable. The Penguin, I just love the atmosphere of the Batman movie. I need to rewatch the Batman now. It's all that made me want to do. I love the atmosphere, and I thought that it was a pretty interesting first episode. Anyway, that's what I did this week. So I recommend all the things
That's a
that I
pretty hefty
reviewed.
load. All right, fair enough. Well, now for something completely different. Garrett went out into the real world, and really, I mean, some could say you experienced a cinematic experience
Mhm,
in the wild,
mhm.
perhaps.
In the
You
vein
were
of
you were
Sports
in a
September.
crowd with many people,
Yes.
Mhm.
but you went to OU's first SEC game down in Norman, right?
Yep. You could say it was a 4D experience of football.
4D.
Yeah. It was that. Listen, as an Oklahoma person who has grown up with sports my whole life, my whole family is like, well, we're split. Most of my family is OU people. Got some people who are
Sure.
OSU fans, but my family's had OU season tickets for a very long time.
And one weird TU guy.
One weird
We
TU.
don't talk
guy.
about him.
Yeah, yeah. But everybody likes TU. They're
They're there.
they're the yeah,
I'm
they're
so
the baby.
sorry.
They're the baby of the group. Everybody just likes
Yeah.
them. They're cute. They're just trying to do their own thing. Um,
Mm.
but it was wild, man. I mean, I've gone many years, and it's always exciting. Realistically, totally knew they were going to get beat. So that also enhances the experience when and you can set that
It can
expectation.
help.
Just go, all right, what am I looking for? What are the good things here? But it was nice to kind of get out and associate this with Sports September here. We didn't have a football movie in our repertoire.
No. We tried to let the fans pick one, and they almost did.
They did.
Yes.
They gave us some golf. And so it was nice to kind of get out there and experience OU's first SEC game and their destruction.
Yeah. Well, better luck next time, hopefully.
Well,
We'll see, I guess. I went to a movie and saw a new movie that I am delighted to share with you guys. I would love to put this in a future So Many Scares one day, but this is another one that I just am not going to do that to David.
boo.
Because
Put him
yeah,
through
I
some
know.
stuff.
So I went and saw
Traumatize
the
that boy.
I saw The Substance.
Leave me alone.
David or Garrett, do you know about The Substance
I've
yet?
seen it kinda going around. I've seen the same kinda marketing that a lot of these scary movies get of people in the crowd going like, "Ooh," that's kinda what I've seen.
Yeah, it's Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid, unfortunately, he's in there too. But,
Interesting.
it's so a fading celebrity decides to use a black market drug, a cell replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. To kinda, describe that again, Demi Moore is playing this fading celebrity who uses a black market drug to create a version of herself that's not a fading celebrity anymore, so to speak. And I won't go into the how or why and all that because that's for the movie, but, it is less so it's for sure like body horror is what I would call it. It's not like scary horror, it is like gruesome body horror stuff. It's one of the more gross movies I've seen in a long time. And that's I haven't seen any of those trailers, but it totally makes sense that they're doing that because it is one of those movies where when I was watching it
Mm,
with people in the
mm.
theater, there was a lot of out loud groaning about like, "Ugh," hands up, "Oh my god," awkward laughter at, blood doing things blood shouldn't. So recommend for sure to Garrett.
Hmm.
And to the rest of the audience. I just can't put David through it. I don't think he'd make it 5 minutes, but
If they
you'd
do
tu
stuff with
you'd turn it
if they do
off.
stuff with eyes, or if they do stuff with, like, slicing, that's always puts
Well,
me
there's
off.
slicing, for sure there's slicing. There's
Mhm.
not eye stuff that I recall, and there are
Thank
some things
goodness.
that if I told you, you wouldn't understand what I was saying.
Yeah, body horror is one of those things where it's like, it messes with me, kinda like the, slow burn hereditary kinda style where those are the ones that like, oh, they make me quince and they make me go, "Ooh, I don't like it."
It's
But I do
it's
wanna
cool
see it.
though. It's like a super in-depth Twilight Zone or Black Mirror or just like this sci-fi concept of this drug that can do this. 'Cause the story when you're watching it is very you can easily understand what's going on. It's not like a hard to understand sci-fi or it's not where like the technology is hard to grasp. Like you just kind of along for the ride that it does what it says it does. So that's the substance. It's freaky and gross, not for people with a weak stomach. Very bloody. Yeah,
Fascinating.
I know. But it's fun. I think I hope it goes around a while. I think it'll be a could be a cult hit if it doesn't, do anything else.
Mhm.
Alright, let's get into some news of the week. First thing, I've been super excited about this for a long time, this Mickey 17 trailer. This was on, all of our most anticipated, I think, right? Or at least made our top
I think this
our
was the number
collective.
1 because
Yeah.
we'd all mentioned it, so we deemed it our most anticipated film of 2024.
Mickey 17 is Bong Joon-ho's follow-up to the Best Picture winning Parasite, which won Best Picture in 2019.
Mhm.
Does Robert Pattinson is in this movie. It is a sci-fi movie based on a book called Mickey 7. I don't know a lot about it other than Robert Pattinson is playing a character who dies a lot. He
Yeah, he
just
gets like
dies over
cloned.
and over and over, and he gets cloned. Stephen Yeun's in it, Toni Collette, Mark Ruffalo. It's got a great cast. Did you guys get to watch it?
Yeah, I watched this trailer.
No, I
What
didn't
did you
get a
think,
chance to
David?
watch it yet.
Well, Robert Pattinson, he's putting on kind of a funny voice for it, and that's totally cool. Like,
He
it's
does a
kinda
lot
like
of those.
I feel like, in terms of movies we watched this year, a movie that it reminded me of was, Swiss Army Man, because he signs up, he's in the future, he signs up to be an expendable, which means that they will essentially clone and print out his a new version of him every time he dies. But I guess like he still sort of retains the memory of each
Yeah.
death that he has in some way. Like he experiences it, and then the new one's printed, and it still has like his memories. And it gets to the point, at least in the trailer, that he goes through it at least enough times that one time he's not dead, and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, this guy's still alive," and he goes, "It's okay," and they just dump him in the incinerator anyway because they incinerate his body, but they put him as a character or as a expendable. He's constantly put through these perilous situations that they don't want to jeopardize a real person. So, hey, go explore that dark cave. Oops, there's a monster. Oh, hey, we need you to go out there and repair that fuselage with amongst the radiation. Oh, he got fried by the sun or whatever it is. I think one of the things they like test some kind of medicine on him and he has a terrible reaction. Like they show a few of those things in the trailer to kind of give you a sense of the idea. Looks very existential. I guess at this point we are still not past the idea of confronting alternate versions of ourselves or that type of. So this is a different way to do that type of story, but it's an increasingly common thread. Whether it's parallel universe versions of yourselves, clones versions of yourselves, meeting your past self. In the case of like my old ass,
That's
or
because
meeting your
so
future
many
self.
people are
You
stuck
know.
and they can't find
Mm,
themselves. And
mm,
realizing that you have to have some self reflection means
hmm.
having to look at many different copies of yourself. People don't do that
And
right now.
seeing,
Yeah,
People
there's
are
pretty
just,
much
yeah.
always some societal thing you could
Mhm.
trace back to these kind of trends in art.
And so
I
I'm not
totally
sure.
agree.
Maybe it was an election. Who knows? Maybe something has caused us all to have to reflect and to confront ourselves. So we will. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not necessarily a Bong Joon Ho's like biggest fan because I've really only seen Parasite. That's it. That's the only movie of his I've seen. So I look forward to seeing his next thing and maybe jumping on.
Yeah, good. I'm excited about it. I've seen a few of his movies, and they're always a blast. So I can't wait. Maybe soon we'll get to see in one of these fancy new theaters that we're hearing about. Apparently, the other NATO um, announced that there's going to be this like $2 billion investment in 21,000 screens in North America over the next 3 years. This includes the 8 biggest chains. So, like your big ones, AMC, Cinemark, Regal. That's the majority of the
Cineplex.
country, and then there's this bunch of
Yeah.
smaller ones that kind of fit under that. But they're talking about everything from better projection, better sound systems, improved seating, dining experiences, to even um, activities to plan with your family or friends before or after the movie, like pickleball courts
Hmm.
and zip lines.
Hmm.
I was reading through one of the stories about it earlier, and it said B&B is already doing the pickleball thing. Like, there's already B&B theaters with pickleball courts
Mm.
where
I
they're
don't
like,
grab
"Come
one.
reserve a court before your movie or after your movie and just play for a little while," and people are doing it, I guess. So, this is all part of the way to get butts back in seats because moviegoers are demanding more from theaters. They're demanding, you know, you gotta make this better than home. And sometimes for some people, just not being home isn't enough. They want the niceties, and I get that. So, um, what do you guys think? You want a pickleball? You want a zip line into your 40 seat?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I
Will it even
wanna.
happen? Where did they get
I wanna.
$2.2 billion? I have a lot of questions.
Yeah. I wanna drop down from the rafters like Sting right into my chair. I think that the general quality of life improvements, newer screens, newer sound systems, newer seating, better dining options, that sort of thing. I'm all for that. Like you have to do what you can to beat the convenience of staying home. And I think, the pandemic obviously amplified that. And I think, I mean, you see that in the movie and in the theater industry, but you see that in other fields too. Like, I mean, even restaurants. I can't tell you, since the pandemic, I almost always just pick up the food and bring it back home. Like, I rarely go and sit down in a restaurant. I mean, again, it's just more convenient. Just place the order, go pick it up and take it home. You don't have to deal with all of the waiting and the noise and the waiting on the waiter to come bring you more of your drink or any of that stuff. So those little quality of life improvements looking forward to. I don't need pickleball or zip lining or a new arcade or anything like that. But I do think that if they can make theaters more of a general destination, that's probably going to be a benefit.
well, and like, here's the thing: theaters are dying because people aren't going in masses like they used to,
Mm,
and there are too many screens. That we live by an AMC with 20 screens, and they don't open until 1 in the afternoon on the weekdays. I mean, that's stupid. They're barely full. Nobody's going to fill up all these theaters. So the fact that they have this many theaters that are taking up rent space and that people aren't filling, I mean, they're just putting money right in the trash can. And so they have to do
mm,
that. I mean, that's evolution. And that's until people go back to the theaters and fill all of these screens, then this is something that they have to do and find ways to get people out there. Family destinations is a successful way to do. Pickleball is the
y-
fastest growing sport in the country right now, and it's very popular. And so incorporating all of that and creating an opportunity for people to literally spend a day at the movie theater without having to spend it inside or, in
Mhm,
in a dark screen. I think that creates an
mhm.
opportunity, and if they're not going to do that, then that is their fault because that is them not evolving as the times are. So I applaud
I
them for giving it a chance, and I hope that it also implores again, I always go back to studios releasing less, stop cranking things out and getting movies out so fast, and leave them in there like Inside Out did, and then you create more opportunities for people to go see these movies because maybe they're like, "Oh, it's been out for 2 months, but I haven't seen it. It'd be fun to go to the movie theater and spend the whole day there."
Mhm,
It creates that, but they won't do
mhm.
that, so I don't know if it will be successful, but I would like it to be.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be intrigued. I think a good point you made there is the idea that a lot of theaters don't necessarily open until halfway through the day. So, having those other excuses to be there before movie times, like if you're a theater and you don't really start your show times till 1 or 12:30, having an excuse for people to come and maybe like have a breakfast, play a game of pickleball, I don't know, hit the treadmill if they want to put in a whole gym situation. Something like that, it offers your building a reason to be open before 1. And that might help offset some of the other stuff. And you know what? If they make good money with all this extra stuff, I don't know, maybe they lower prices on the popcorn a little.
Yeah, if I had the chance to play pickleball outside immediately after watching Challengers, it would have been a game changer. The game would have been
Yeah.
changed, and by the game, I mean pickleball and tennis, because I would have been an unstoppable force of pickleball with the
Yeah,
amount of tennis hype that that movie could give anyone.
every
Yes.
theater that's gonna have what they need is those, do you remember, like, the American Gladiator jousting sticks, If you're a theater and you could have one of those set up, it'd be like, "Hey, you're coming out of your latest Captain America, come get in the fight zone,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
"Enjoy yourself," or after the next John Wick, "Hey, come over here and try laser tag."
See, that's
Yeah.
synergy, and that's how you do that. That's great.
See, I was gonna say, we got one of those here locally in Tulsa with Synergy, which is a movie theater, bowling alley, escape room, axe throwing, arcade
Mhm.
hybrid.
Yeah.
I don't know how that does. I've actually done just about everything but watched a movie there. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I have not seen a movie there, but I know my sister went, and they enjoyed it.
see, there you go. Could be more of this stuff could be happening. I think that'd be cool to see. All right, let's get into our box office update of the week and start to wrap things up here. David, how was the second weekend of Beetlejuice? That's the big movie out
Um,
right now.
yes, Beetlejuice maintained its spot at number 1, I think, in its 3rd weekend, with 26,000,000, just beating out the debuting Transformers 1, which brought in 25,000,000, which is that's gotta be a disappointment
Yeah, I heard that
for the
flopped pretty
studio.
hard.
Yeah.
Project.
Their best estimates were between 30 and 40,000,000, so this falls short of that. At the same time, you release an animated film that's clearly targeting a more PG crowd and you release it after Labor Day. I just don't know. It feels like a movie that they wanted to not do well. Like they wanted an excuse for this to not do well, so they put it after school starts back up, after kids are busy. Opening weekend of conference play for a lot of football schools. So I don't know. I mean, I hate to say that, but that just feels iffy to me. I think it's
I
a
think it's
great
just
idea.
because people are sick of Transformers. I
It's
don't know
For
why you
possible,
went down
real.
the
but
school route.
it's
Yeah,
possible,
it's
but this has
easily the
a
Transformers problem, not school.
it's possible, but based on what I've seen, this has decent reviews. It has like an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes,
It
like a
don't
high
matter if everyone's
audience
sick of it.
score.
Listen,
It has
there
a
is a
high
difference between a
audience
critics
grade.
and an audience score so much now that what the critics say means absolutely nothing to the audience.
I mean, I
That's
think it's got a
true.
good audience score too, though. So I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I think
so
that
did
like
Fury Road.
it's got a 98% audience
Yeah.
score and an 89%. So all I'm saying is it's not necessarily because the people who went and saw it are like, "Oh gosh, it's bad, don't go see it," and not recommending it. I think it's just not great placement for what the movie is, which is if this had come out in the middle of summer, I mean, honestly, if this had come out in August when there was not a lot of other options, this could have been a number 1. This could have been a much better release, I think. Anyway, number 3, you have Speak No Evil with 5,900,000. Then debuting Never Let Go to the number 4 spot. I don't know what Never Let Go is. Probably another horror movie of some kind. And at number 5, you have Deadpool and Wolverine bringing in 3.9 million, and so I don't think Deadpool and Wolverine's probably leaving theaters anytime soon. Um, in its what week is that in? I don't know, but anyway, it's probably gonna have a long run in theaters. Your worldwide box office, Inside Out 2 is still number 1. In fact, Inside Out 2 has finally reached its 100th day in release. Did that on Saturday, and they left it in for Sunday as well. So we got 101 days at the end of it. That was the goal that they had set, that Disney said they were going to leave it in theaters for 100 days. So we've hit that now, and so I anticipate it will out of theaters and it'll show up on streaming sometime in November or maybe Christmas.
25 days, according to the Disney Plus app that I opened earlier today.
5 days away.
I love that. Sweet. All right. Well, that'll do it for us on this episode. We've got so many scares coming up in October. So be sure to subscribe to the show on YouTube or in your podcasting app for that. Not want to miss it. Then November, we're going to do 1999 Vember, which is the movies of 1999.
I applaud your commitment to that.
Well, I haven't heard or thought of a better, what is it? Is that a portmanteau when you put two words together? I don't remember.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Oh, did I get it right? I have a master's degree. Anyway, I haven't thought of a better one yet. So it's 1999 November until otherwise
Yeah.
decided.
November 99 doesn't work as well.
Nah. And then so many Santas to wrap up in December. It's going to be a good year. So be sure to subscribe. YouTube, podcasting app. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to get more involved in the show, join us on Patreon. You can get access to our Discord there and chat with us and everyone else in the group there on Discord. It's fun. All right. We'll see you all later in the week with a review of Happy Gilmore. Bye.